Good day, everyone. Today, I will be starting our discussion. It is about human resource and financial management. Let's first start with human resource management. Human resource management, we are going to talk about the introduction, recruitment and hiring. Third, we are going to talk about training and also managing employees. Let's start. So, human resource management can be defined as employing people, developing their resource, utilizing, maintaining, and also compensating their services in tune with job and also organizational requirements. As we can see, underlined are verbs. So, human resource management is about working double time, not simply about managing people with paperwork and policies, but modern HR is a strategic function focused on empowering employees, building a positive culture, and aligning human capital with organizational goals. Human resource management is not simply a function, but a management function concerned with hiring, motivating, and maintaining people in an organization. And how does one do that? Of course, we should design a management system to ensure that human talent is effectively and efficiently used to accomplish organizational goals. The functions of a human resource management doesn't only fall by being a bridge between the administration and also the employees. Of course, the human resource management is task for the human resource acquisition, human resource development via career planning, training and development, organizational development as well. Performance and also compensation is one of the functions of the human resource, as well as motivation and also maintenance of the employees. Industrial relations is also one of the functions of the human resource management. All of this will be deeply discussed later on as we go. The scope or the capacity of the human resource management includes number one, the human resource planning. In human resource planning, they are tasked to fill various positions. These various positions must be knowledgeable of these various positions, the job descriptions of each, so they can find the person that they are looking for or the talent that they are looking for specifically. Recruitment and selection is also a capacity and scope of the human resource management or the HRM, to develop a pool or team of candidates in order for them to select from it. Job design, such as defining the task, the job description, assigning authority, and also responsibility is very important. They should detail all the responsibilities or the job description of an employee, not only for the employee themselves, but also for the people around that employee. For us to know their job description, what kind of authority they have over our job or others' job. Next is we have the training and development, helps in developing key competencies. Fifth is the appraisal of performance, using systematic assessment that we are going to discuss later, and also evaluation of workforce. Sixth in the capacity of the HRM is the motivation of workforce. Workforce motivation is the psychological drive that energizes employees to perform their task with enthusiasm and also commitment. It is a key responsibility of human resource, achieved through a balance of intrinsic factors like purpose, growth, and also autonomy, and extrinsic motivators such as salary, recognition, and benefits. Another capacity of the human resource management is the remuneration of employees. When we say remuneration, it is the pay or financial compensation provided in exchange of an employee's services performed. 8 on the list is social security and welfare of employees, managed also by the human resources or the HR. It involves providing economic security and social support through mandatory contribution for benefits like healthcare, retirement, unemployment, and as well as promoting a safe and healthy work environment. Next is to review and audit personnel policies, practices, and procedures related to hiring, compensation, performance reviews, terminations, benefits, often using methods like interviews and documentation analysis. Ultimately, an HR audit identifies the strength and weaknesses, mitigates the risk, and streamlines processes to create a more effective and efficient HR department. Last on the list, for example, a settlement of dispute is industrial labor relation that ensures healthy union management relationship. Next in line is we have the objectives of the human resource management that we are going to go through quickly. Number one, the objective of the HRM is to help organization reach its goal, of course. It is clearly aligned with the vision and mission and also the core values that is being given right at the start when we are going to apply for something. It's already been given to us. So we know if it aligns with our own vision, mission in life. To employ the skills and abilities of workforce efficiently, to provide organization with not only well-trained but also well-motivated employees, to increase employees' job satisfaction and also self-actualization or to stimulate employees to realize their potential. Another objective of the HRM is to develop and maintain what we call the QWL or the quality of work life. Next is to communicate HR policies to all employees, to be ethically and socially responsible, to provide an opportunity for expression and also voice in management, to be a bridge between the employees and the administration because let's be honest, the administration doesn't really know what's going inside or within the employees themselves. So the HR is our bridge to have our concerns and also our notions delivered to the administration, to provide fair, acceptable, and efficient leadership, to establish sound organizational structure, one that is flexible for us and also desirable and has a desirable working relations. If these objectives aren't met, sometimes a union in the workplace is being developed. My current workplace at the moment also has a union. A union in the workplace is a sign that workers are organizing to collectively bargain for a better pay, benefits, and also working condition. It indicates a desire for a stronger voice, more job security, fairer treatment, and a reduction in favoritism and also having inconsistent rules. The presence of a union shows it's not always negative. The presence of a union shows employees are seeking strength in numbers to achieve a more equitable and respectful environment. Now let's talk about the importance of HRM. Of course, the importance of a good HRM. A good HRM helps attract and retain talent. They train people for challenging roles, develop skills and also competencies, promote team spirit, and commonly this is very familiar with us because team buildings happen from time to time, actually annually if I'm not mistaken, and also develop loyalty and also commitment to the company or to the vision or mission and the core values of the company for what the company stands for. A good HR increase productivity and not only that but also, of course, profits, improve job satisfaction, enhance the standard of living of every employee within its reach, and also generate employment opportunity. And lastly, it improves reputation. Because a company known for treating its employees well builds a positive reputation, which can help attract both talent and also customers. So we are done with the first part of our discussion, which is about the scope, the objectives, and also the importance of the human resource management. Now let's move on to our next topic, which is about recruitment and also hiring. Edwin B. Filippo, which is an American industrial psychologist and also a professor who made a significant contribution in the field of human resource management, which has a book also about that, which is titled Personal Management if you are interested. He defined recruitment as the process of searching for prospective employees, and not only that, by stimulating them to apply for jobs in the organization. Next in line is the factors that affects recruitment. Number one is we have the company's pay package. Of course, before diving into something, we must be aware of what we are saying yes to. And one of that is the company's pay package. The higher it is, of course, the faster the recruitment or the higher the recruitment is what I mean. The QWL or the quality of work life is a key aspect, of course, of the human resource management. It focuses on the relationship between employees and their work environment to create a positive and also productive atmosphere. Organizational culture is very important. Career planning and company size, products, and also growth rate is a factor that affects recruitment or one of the things that we have to check or know for ourselves before we say yes to a company. Growth rate or GR is very important because or the company size in itself, because we are not going to of course as an applicant we are not going to dive into something that we know isn't going to grow with us. So as individuals, we are looking for a place that will challenge us and that we will challenge as well. So that includes a company that is willing to grow as we grow. Next, if I hope that makes sense. Next is the cost of recruitment. Socioeconomic factors, supply or demand factors. Let me go back with the cost of recruitment. These costs are critical for business growth and can be strategically managed to avoid potential losses, from mishires, productivity dips with average cost per hire varying by role and also location. Employment rate is the percentage of a working age population that is employed. It is calculated by dividing the number of employed people by the total working age population and also multiplying it by 100. This employment rate, it serves as a key indicator of a country's labor market health and also economic performance, thus leading us to another factor that affects recruitment, which is labor market condition. Next is we have the information system, such as their ability to handle large volume of applicants, process applications digitally, and provide tools for virtual interviews. Because it is not secret to us that sometimes we move houses for a particular job. And before we do that, during the application period, we must be able to know if we are willing to go the distance, literally, for a job. So these job applications must, or this recruitment must be able to handle large volumes of applicants and also provide tools for virtual interviews, background verification, and data-driven forecasting of potential employee performance. Last but not the least is legal requirements. Legal requirements prohibit discrimination in recruitment based on protective characteristics such as race, sex, religion, age, disability, and national origin is what I mean. Unfair practices can also include discriminatory job advertisements, requesting irrelevant legal requirements. I am going to show an example of a company that I remember that went viral over social media chains. So let's see. So this is very famous. This is a very famous food chain in the Philippines. So as we can see, it looks pretty simple, but as we read and as we go on with their criteria and qualifications, we are going to see irrelevant and also unfair criteria and qualifications. Again, this is about a food chain, so they are hiring a service crew. So they must be 18 to 30 years of age, at least a high school graduate, knowledgeable to basic mathematical computations, preferably female. Of course, this narrows down their potential applicants because they already have it by asking for a female applicant. Next is we have good visual impact and also pleasing personality. Visual impact is what you ask for when you are asking for a beauty queen, not really when asking for a service crew. Next, weight must be proportionate to the height. it's as if that they are asking for, again, some beauty queen of a sort, not a service crew, that will be supported by the next bullet, which is about having clear complexion, eyesight, and good set of teeth. So, as you can see, um, we can have our own different opinions about this advertisement, but it sets discrimination against sex of a person, its age also, and also unfair practices includes discriminatory job advertisement requesting irrelevant requirements for the applicant. So I think most of this are irrelevant to the job they are looking for the talent they are looking for. I would understand if they are looking for a beauty queen, but I do not understand some of the qualifications that they are asking for, hence why they went viral. I'm not sure, but I think they apologized for this. They made a public apology for this. So there's that. Next in our discussion is the sources of recruitment. So, of course, we have the internal source. The internal source includes transfer from one department to another, promotion from one level to another, and then employee referrals. Another thing is about external source via direct media advertisement, employment package, management consultants, campus recruitment for fresh graduates is also rampant, recommendations, labor contractors. Next is we have the modern techniques. Modern techniques include headhunting, which is a proactive search for specific talent. Body shopping is the temporary staffing of employees to other companies. Business alliances are partnerships for mutual benefit. And lastly, telerecruitment is the use of technology for recruiting. These are all distinct methods used in talent acquisition and also business strategy. Now let's talk about more about the internal source and its advantages and disadvantages. Of course, as we know, internal source including transfer, promotion, employee referrals. Here, the advantages: employees are motivated. Employees has self-confidence if they are promoted, if they are transferred, if they are referred, of course. And also, cheaper process in recruitment because as we know, external recruitment can be a lengthy process. So this eliminates time and also cost. Chain of promotion improves performance as well and also used as a tool for training. Disadvantages of the internal source, of course, is that the scope for fresh talent is significantly reduced because they are either transferred only or promoted. So the search for a fresh talent is significantly reduced. Spirit of competition is hampered. And frequent transfers, of course, I can only imagine if you are transferred multiple times, it reduces productivity. Next is the advantages of the external source and also its disadvantages. Let's start first with the advantages. For external source, it attracts qualified personnel, wider choice, and also there is a fresh talent present, competitive also in spirit. And also disadvantages of external source include dissatisfaction among existing staff, lengthy and also a time-consuming process. This includes selection steps that we are going to discuss later, and also costly. And of course, we are uncertain as the human resource management, we are uncertain of their response, if they are going to say yes or if they are going to say no. So that leaves us for another setback if they say no. So selection, after recruiting somebody, we have to select, of course. Selection is the process of picking individuals who have relevant qualifications to fill jobs in an organization. The basic purpose of selection is to choose the individual, but what comes hard is who can most successfully perform the job from the pool of qualified candidates. Among them, whose talent can you use effectively and also efficiently. So, selection steps include reception, screening interview, such as preliminary interview, discuss the cost, allow only eligible candidates to go through further stages. So, as we go on below the stages, we are going to be, the applicants will be narrowed down, of course. Application blank, where they can have brief history of the employees. Selection test is also conducted, such as intelligence test that decides how smart are you. Aptitude test, can you learn how to do it? Attitude test, how do you feel about it? And ability, can you do it now? Are you able to do it now? And also interest, do you want to do it? So those are the types of tests that the human resource management can conduct. Next is the selection interview, or it's like an oral examination. And then after that, only then can you be assessed for medical examination if you are fit for the work that they are going to be requiring of you. Next in line is the reference check. Personnel department check applicants' previous job performance in order to know, why are you transferring from one company to another? Why did you resign? Were you terminated? And what is the cause of your termination? How were you in your previous job? Did you perform greatly? Or if the human resource management is not gonna conduct a reference check, which sometimes most of them doesn't conduct reference check at all. But let's not be complacent, because as we know, most of us have digital footprint, and it's very easy for us to be searched and also be uh, found out inside the social media chains. Next is we have the hiring decision. After all of the selection steps, the hiring decision falls on the human resource management. The final decision whether to select or reject you as a candidate. After recruitment and also hiring, of course, comes the training. Training is a planned program designed to improve performance and bring about measurable changes in knowledge, skills, and attitude and social behavior. It is essential for job success. It can lead to higher production, fewer mistakes, which is what the administration would want, greater job satisfaction, and also lower turnover. Training must not be confused with development, because development is future-oriented training, focusing on personal growth of the employee that aims to improve the total personality of an individual. Its training must not be also confused with education, because education is a process of increasing the general knowledge as opposed to training with job-oriented or job-centered skill learning. Next is the features of training. Feature of a training increases knowledge and skills, focuses attention on the individual job, and also concentrates on individual employees. Heavy on the individual. As we can see, training gives the spotlight to the specific employee that needs the training itself. Gives importance to short-term performance. Training is needed to serve new recruits, to prepare existing employees for higher level jobs such as promotion. Helps the existing employees to keep in touch with latest developments. This is very important in the field of medicine, because of course every day it changes from time to time. Another set of discoveries is being known. So it's important to have to be kept in touch with the latest developments. It permits employees to move from one job to another via transfer, and so also to make employees more versatile, mobile, and flexible, and to gain acceptance from people. Of course, training doesn't come without any setback at all. So a systematic approach to training must be fulfilled. So number one, the assessment identifies skill gaps. Implementation is the delivery of a training, and lastly, evaluation measures its effectiveness or the impact of the training itself. For the human resource management, our last agenda is about managing employees. Employee performance management is a process of establishing performance standards. to ensure individual efforts contribute to the company's overall objectives, creating a shared sense of purpose and also commitment. Next, it enhances talent and also succession planning. Performance management identifies high potential employees, allowing for targeted development and also preparation for future leadership roles. And also, employee performance management is a process of establishing and appraising employee performance. To appraise performance, we have these methods. We have the written essays. In written essays, these are very simple to use. However, this is more of a measure of the evaluator's writing ability rather than the employee's actual performance. Next is the critical incidents based. This is behavior centered, but it is time consuming, and also it lacks quantification because one cannot measure how does one handle a critical incident. So how good does one handle a critical incident? So it lacks quantification, as opposed to graphic rating scales that gives us quantitative data and less time consuming than others, but it does not provide depth of job behavior assessed. Next is we have the bars that is focused on specific and measurable job behaviors but also time consuming and difficult to develop. Next in line is we have another performance appraisal method, which is multi-person comparison. It compares employees with one another, which I find as also an advantage and a disadvantage. It is unwieldy with large number of employees, and also it can be subjected to legal concerns. MBO, or the Management by Objectives Performance Appraisal, is a collaborative process where managers and employees jointly set specific, measurable goals and then evaluate performance against them. It is end goal oriented and also results oriented. Also, another disadvantage is that it is time consuming. 360-degree appraisal, which is one of the most that I think one of the most used among the performance appraisal methods. It's also known as a multi-rater feedback. It's a performance evaluation method that collects feedback from various sources, including the peers, subordinates, supervisors, and most specifically, even customers. This provides holistic view of an employee's strengths and also weaknesses. That makes it thorough and also time consuming, unfortunately. As we can observe, all of these are mostly time consuming. So it depends upon the human resource management what performance appraisal is perfect for the what they are measuring. But all of this, and among all of these, I have been subjected or familiar with 360-degree appraisal, and I find it really helpful because it provides feedback not only from a one single source but various sources such as peers, customers, even supervisors, and also subordinates. So, human resource management doesn't come without an issue if you are part of it. So, one of the things that you are going to be faced with if you are part of the human resource management is managing downsizing. So, downsizing is a planned elimination of jobs in an organization. Managing downsizing effectively requires clear and also honest communication, support for both departing and remaining employees. It requires strategic planning. Key strategies include providing adequate notice, offering out placement services, supporting the remaining team with training and empathy, and clearly articulating the reasons for downsizing to minimize rumors and also to build trust. Another thing is to manage workforce diversity. Of course, in the current age or the contemporary times, this shouldn't be a problem. This widens the recruitment net for diversity, ensures selection without discrimination, and provide orientation and training that is effective for everyone. Another set of issues that we can be faced if we are part of the human resource management is sexual harassment claims or concerns. Sexual harassment is an unwanted activity of sexual nature that affects an individual's employment. Unwanted sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal and also physical conduct of of a sexual nature, when submission or rejection of this conduct explicitly or implicitly affects an individual's employment. An environment in which a person is affected by the elements of sexual nature falls under sexual harassment. Second is workplace romances. Workplace romances shouldn't be a problem because we are already professionals, right? But workplace romance is a problem because it can lead to decreased productivity, create a hostile work environment through sexual harassment claims, and cause conflict of interest and favoritism, especially in relationships with power imbalances. These issues can result in negative impacts in morale, in the team dynamics. It could ruin team dynamics and the company's reputation and legal standing if they choose to accept workplace romances. And next is we have the work life balance. Employees have personal lives that they do not leave behind when they come to work, of course. Organizations have become more attuned to their employees by offering family friendly benefits such as on site childcare, summer day camps, flexible time, job sharing, and also a leave for personal matters. And also controlling HR costs. HR cost includes employees' healthcare, financial incentives, wellness programs, and the lack thereof or the presence of the employee pension plans, or reducing said pension benefits, or could be no longer providing pension plans. So for today, we have learned about the scope, the objective, and also the importance of the HRM with our introduction. We already know the recruitment and also the selection steps, training, and also the evaluating one's performance through appraisal methods. So that's it for my presentation for human resource management. Let us remember, when people go to work, they shouldn't have to leave their hearts at home. Next up would be about financial management.
Good day, everyone. So, this would be the second half of today's discussion, the financial management, specifically how organizations manage their financial resources through budgeting, forecasting, and financial reporting. We have these tools essential not just for the accountants, but for every decision maker in a business or institution. So, for the overview of the contents, we have first the introduction of financial management, including the objectives, roles, and importance. Number two would be budgeting, including the types and purposes. Third, we have forecasting, including application and common forecasting metrics. Next would be financial reporting and different techniques and tools. So, for the introduction, financial management refers to the management of the company's finances, including all the money coming into the business and all money going out, and any cash or asset in reserve. So, with financial management, it is a form of strategic planning, organizing, directing, and controlling of financial activities within an organization. It is the management of companies' finances, including all the money coming into the business and all the money that goes out. It ensures optimal use of financial resources to achieve organizational goals. Basically, how to handle money, guiding businesses in making decisions that improve their financial stability. So, again, financial management is a strategic enabler, not just a support function. Here are the following objectives of financial management. So, first, let's begin with ensure liquidity and solvency. So, first, what is liquidity? Liquidity is the ability to meet short term obligations using current assets, while solvency is the ability to meet long term obligations and sustain operations over time. So, these two matters because they prevent cash shortages and operational disruptions. Also builds trust with creditors and suppliers, supports financial stability and growth. One of the example would be in a clinical laboratory, they maintain a cash reserve to cover payroll, reagent purchases during seasonal revenue dips. Number two, maximize resource utilization. So it is defined as using financial, human, and physical resources efficiently to achieve the highest possible output or value. This matters because it reduces waste and unnecessary costs, improves productivity and ROI or return of investment, also enhances competitiveness and sustainability. Example of this one when a hospital relocates underused laboratory equipment to a high demand department, therefore improving turnaround time and reducing outsourcing costs. Number three, support strategic decision making. It provides accurate, timely financial insights to guide long term planning and operational choices. Because it aligns financial planning with organizational goals, also enables proactive responses to market changes, and strengthens leadership confidence and agility. Example of this one is when a university uses multi-year financial forecasts to decide whether to expand its medical technology program or MLS program. Number four, number four, maintain transparency and accountability. So it ensures financial practices having a clear, honest, and compliant with regulations while holding stakeholders responsible for the outcomes. So this matters as it builds trust with investors, donors, and regulators, prevents fraud and mismanagement, supports ethical governance, and public confidence. Example of this one would be a non-profit laboratory publishes quarterly financial reports and audit results to maintain donor trust and funding continuity. Financial management is more than just handling money. It's more about aligning financial strategies with organizational goals. So according to NetSuite and Linus University sources, its key roles includes first, strategic planning, aligns financial goals with business objectives, supports long-term growth through capital budgeting and investment planning. Another, resource allocation. It ensures funds distributed efficiently across departments and projects while prioritizing high impact initiatives while controlling costs. Number three, risk management identifies financial risk such as liquidity, credit, market. It implements controls and contingency plans to mitigate them. Number four, performance monitoring tracks financial KPIs like your ROI, operating margin, and cash flow, enabling corrective actions through variance analysis and reporting. Fifth, compliance and governance ensures adherence to financial regulations and promotes transparency and accountability in reporting. The following are the importance of financial management. First, it helps organizations in financial planning and acquisition of funds. Financial management enables organizations to estimate how much money they will need and determine the best ways to obtain it, whether through loans, grants, equity, or internal saving. Example, a university laboratory forecasts the cost of upgrading its equipment and applies for a research grant to cover the expenses. So this matters as it prevents underfunding or overborrowing, also aligns funding with strategic goals, supports sustainable growth. Number two, it aids in effective utilization and allocation of funds. Once funds are acquired, financial management ensures they are used wisely, prioritizing essential operations, minimizing waste, and maximizing impact. Example would be A hospital allocates more funds to its diagnostic laboratory during flu season to handle increased patient volume. So this matters because it improves operational efficiency, also avoids overspending on low priority areas, enhances return on investment. Number three, supports critical financial decision making. Financial managers provide data-driven insights that help leaders make informed decisions whether they are going to expand the services, cutting the costs, or investing in new technology. Example of this one is a nonprofit uses cost-benefit analysis to decide between leasing or purchasing a new blood analyzer. This matters because it reduces financial risk, aligns decisions with long-term strategy, also encourages accountability and foresight. Number four, helps improve profitability. So by controlling the cost, optimizing pricing, and identifying profitable opportunities, financial management directly contributes to increasing net income. A private laboratory analyzes its service pricing and adjusts rates to reflect true costs and market demand. Boosting margins is one of the examples. So it matters as it strengthens financial health, enables reinvestment in innovation where staff, attracts investors and partners. Number five, increases the overall value of the organization. So sound financial practices enhance the organization's market value, reputation, and long-term viability, especially important for attracting investors or donors. So this matters because it builds stakeholder confidence to the organization or company, supports mergers, acquisitions, or expansion, also enhances brand credibility. Number six, it provides economic stability. Financial management helps organizations weather economic fluctuations by maintaining reserves, managing debt, and planning for contingencies. Example of this one is a clinic builds a 6-month emergency fund to stay operational during the public health crisis. So this matters because it ensures continuity of the services, produces vulnerability to market shocks, and promotes long-term resilience. So let's move on to the next part, which is budget. So let's define first what is budget. Budget is an allocate resources, setting financial targets, and guide operational decisions. What is budgeting? Budgeting is not just about numbers, it's about aligning resources with strategy, according to Alexander, because budgeting is the process of creating a financial plan that estimates income and expenses over a specific period of time. Budgeting also is the process of creating financial plan that estimates revenues and expenses over a specific period. It serves as a roadmap for resource allocation, operational control, and performance evaluation. So first, let's define two words here. We have the revenue and the expenses. Revenue is the total income of a business that generated from its primary operations, such as the sales of goods or services, before any costs are deducted. However, expenses are the costs a business incurs to generate that revenue, such as the salaries of the employees, the rent, the cost of the goods sold. Subtracting total expenses from the total revenue shows a company's net income or profit. Therefore, budgeting serves as a roadmap because it helps allocate resources, control operations, and evaluate performance. For example, a hospital laboratory might budget for additional reagents during flu season based on projected test volume. For the purpose of budgeting or budget in general is to allocate resources, set financial targets, and guide operational decision. So we have different types of budgeting. First is incremental budgeting. Incremental budgeting is based on previous year's figures, meaning stable operation with predictable costs. Zero-based budgeting starts from scratch. Every expense must be justified. Therefore, there would be cost cutting or restructuring. Flexible budgeting adjusts based on activity level. So there will be laboratories with seasonal testing volumes, like during dengue season. There will be expected to have increased number of patients, therefore increasing the number of reagents or test kits. Next is rolling budget, continuously updated either monthly or quarterly because of the dynamic environment. Next would be your driver-based budgeting that links budget items to operational drivers, causing strategic planning and forecasting. So we have different steps to budget or in budgeting. So first, we have to set strategic objectives. Strategic objectives defines financial and operational goals such as expanding the laboratory services, or the laboratory wants to reduce its costs. You have to define your objective. Next is to forecast revenues and expenses. Use historical data, market trends, and assumptions to know what to forecast as your revenues and expected expenses. Next is allocate resources. You have to prioritize some departments, programs, or initiatives. Lastly, review, monitor, and revise. So with this one, track the actuals versus the budget and revise if there would be needed to be revised. So finance team have to collaborate with any other department, especially the heads, to fix your budget and align it with the goals of the company or an organization. So let's begin the tools for budgeting. So we have here the Excel and Google Sheets, which are the most familiar tools. These spreadsheets applications are widely used for building budgets, forecasts, and financial models. They offer flexibility and control, especially for small teams or early stage planning. For example, a laboratory manager might use Excel or to create a monthly reagent budget. Also, for other purposes of budgeting, they can input projected test volumes, apply formulas to calculate costs, and use charts to visualize trends. Advantages of using these is it is easy to use and very customizable. Great for prototyping models and supports formulas, pivot models, and charts. So the limitation, however, it is prone to human error, difficult to scale for large organizations. Version control can be messy without collaboration tools. So let's move to the second one. We have your ERP systems. Your ERP means Enterprise Resource Planning Systems, which are software platforms that help organizations manage and automate core business processes by integrating them into a single unified system. So these systems use a common database to connect different departments and functions, such as your finance, HR, sales, and supply chain, providing a single source of truth or data and streamlined workflows. So we have example like SAP or SAP and Oracle. So these enterprise level platforms that integrate financial data with operations. For example, a hospital might use SAP to generate department level budgets, track actual spending, and consolidate financial reports for board review. Advantage of this one is real-time data integration. Next would be automated workflows and approvals and strong internal controls and audit trails. Next, we have your budgeting software like your Adaptive Insights and Anaplan. These support driver-based budgeting and rolling forecasts. So these cloud-based platforms are designed specifically for planning, financial planning, and analysis. They support driver-based budgeting, rolling forecasts, and collaborate planning across departments. For instance, a university finance team might use adaptive insights to model tuition revenue, staff costs, and laboratory expansion scenarios over a 3-year horizon. Advantage of your budgeting software would be streamlines budgeting and forecasting, enhances accuracy and agility, also enables real-time updates and scenario modeling. So let's proceed with the third one, forecasting. Forecasting is the bridge between strategy and execution, according to the Financial Planning and Analysis by Jack Alexander. So it helps organizations prepare for the future, not just to react to it. So Jack Alexander emphasizes that forecasting should be dynamic, collaborative, and driver based, not just a static projection. It is a proactive tool that enables organizations to adapt quickly and make smarter choices. Forecasting uses historical data and assumptions to estimate the future financial performance. So, this is a process of using historical data, assumptions, and analytical models to estimate future financial outcomes. Also, it helps organizations anticipate challenges, seize opportunities, and make informed decisions. In a clinical laboratory forecast, a 30% increase in test volume during flu season. This allowed them to pre-order reagents, kits, schedule extra staffs, and adjust their budget accordingly. What is the purpose of forecasting? First, it predicts financial outcomes to support decision making. Also, it predicts revenue, expenses, and cash flow while having strategic planning and budgeting. So you have to prepare for uncertainty and change while aligning operations with the financial goal. So we have different methods of forecasting. So the first one will be your time series. So it uses the past trends to predict the future. So example of this one is the monthly patient visits or test volumes in a week, in a day, or in a month. So regression, it identifies relationships between variables. So you have to link reagent costs to test volume. So we have two variables here. Check the relationships. Scenario planning models multiple future possibilities. So budgeting under uncertain funding sources. Next would be the applications of forecasting. So first would be revenue projections. Another is cash flow, planning, scenario analysis. So we have different best practices in forecasting. So first uses rolling forecasts. So this includes updating monthly or quarterly while replacing static annual forecasts, improving agility and responsiveness. Next, incorporate driver-based models, so linking forecasts to operational drivers such as your testing volume, student enrollment, enhance accuracy and relevance. Validate assumption regularly. Review the market trends, cost changes, and policy shifts. Avoid outdated and unrealistic projections. Lastly, collaborate across departments. So it involves finance, operations, HR, and procurement, ensuring forecasts reflect the real world conditions. Common forecasting metrics. So the first one would be revenue growth. It tracks increase in income over time. Example is a year-over-year laboratory service revenue. Second, operating margin. It measures profitability after operating expenses. Example of this one is laboratory income versus the salaries of the employees, such as your RMTs or registered medical technologies or technicians. Next is the cash burn rate. It tracks how quickly cash reserves are used. Example, the monthly reagent and payroll costs. Next is the break-even point. Identifies when revenue covers total costs. The minimum example is the minimum number of tests to cover expenses. So we have an example here, forecasting in a laboratory setting. So the scenario is a university lab expects a surge in diagnostic tests due to a new partnership with a local hospital. So what could be done as a forecasting step? So first, analyze the historical test volumes, the number of patients encountered before. Next is estimate growth based on hospital referrals to have a knowledge about the number of people that might come into the hospital. Forecast reagent cost, technician hours, and equipment usage. Lastly, adjust the budget and staffing plans accordingly. So what is the outcome of this example? There will be improved readiness, reduction of the turnaround time, and optimized resource allocation. Let's move to the last part, which is the financial reporting. So let's have first, what is financial reports? It tells a story of an organization's performance and accountability according to John Tennant, an economist's guide to financial management. So financial reporting, it involves preparing and presenting financial statements to stakeholders for decision making. So what is the importance of financial report? It communicates financial health to stakeholders, so the status of the finances of a certain organization or a company. So you have different key reports, and first we have your income statement, which is profitability over time. Therefore, it shows profitability over time, like revenue, expenses, and also the net income. Next is balance sheet. It is the snapshot of financial position, including the assets, liabilities, and equity. Next is your cash flow statement, which tracks in cash inflows and outflows, such as operating, investing, and financing. So we have here the different principles of good reporting. First is accuracy and transparency, which is really important. Next is compliance with the standards such as your GAAP or GAAP and IFRS. Next is timeliness. Next is clear narrative and visuals. So for the users, we have different. We have two, internal and external. For the internal, we have your managers and your employees. And for the external, this would be intended for the investors, regulators, and the donors. So let's move to the integration of everything that we have discussed a while ago. So for the function first, we have your time frame. Time frame in terms of budgeting, it is done annually or quarterly. For forecasting, it is monthly or rolling. For reporting, it is monthly, quarterly, or annually. For the focus of budgeting, it is more on planning and control. However, with your forecasting, as it is forecasting, it's more of prediction and strategy. Reporting, more on performance and compliance. Tools for budgeting, we have your Excel, your ERP systems. Next, for forecasting, we have your BI tools, statistical models, and for reporting, we have accounting softwares and dashboards. Decision support. For budgeting, it is more of resource allocation, while for forecasting, more on strategic pivots or pivots. Lastly, for reporting, we have your stakeholder communication. So let's have the techniques for better financial decisions. So we have first technique, which is ratio analysis. The purpose of this one is evaluating financial health. An example of this is assessment of liquidity or profitability. Another technique we have is your trend analysis, identifying patterns over time. Example is forecasting revenue growth. Break-even analysis, break-even point, the purpose is determining the minimum viable output. So pricing strategy for new services. Scenario planning, we have models, multiple future outcomes, because scenario planning, thinking of other and future outcomes, possible outcomes. So example is budgeting under economic uncertainty. Lastly, we have your cost benefit analysis that compares financial impact of options. Example is choosing between leasing or buying equipment. which is more beneficial. Also, we have different tools for better financial decision. You have a certain tool type, like your ERP system, such as your SAP, Oracle, and NetSuite. Benefits, it integrates budgeting, reporting, and forecasting. Next is your business integration, also known as your BI. So we have Power BI, Tableau, and Click. Visualizes data for strategic insights. Next is we have forecasting softwares like your Anaplan, Adaptive Insights that enables rolling forecasts and driver-based models. Next is your accounting software, QuickBooks and Xer automates financial reporting and compliance. Lastly, the most common ones are your Excels and Google Sheets, which are custom models and templates. They are beneficial as it is flexible for small scale and for teaching. So, general summary, we have the three things: budgeting, reporting, and decision making. Your budgeting forecasting's role is it informs resource allocation and financial targets. So, what will be the goal of the company? It will be aligned during your budgeting. For reporting, it provides context for performance gaps and variances. So, you have to know what happened with everything that you have done with your company, if there will be performance gaps and other differences. Next is decision making. It supports strategic pivots and contingency planning. So, wrapping this up, uh, this presentation shows you how budgeting, forecasting, and reporting works together. So budgeting is an annual or quarterly and focus on planning, while forecasting is rolling and supports strategy. Reporting is a monthly and quarterly and ensures compliance. So, in conclusion, financial management is essential for every organization. Whatever you are running, if it is a hospital, a school, or a business, budgeting, forecasting, and reporting help you stay financially healthy, make smart decisions, and build trust with your stakeholders. So, thank you for listening.